I want to share a funny story. Gist. You want to gist? Yes. What a gist. It was a funny one, and it happened when we were planning our marriage. Okay, planning the wedding and all that, all the whole marriage stuff. Just imagine that you are planning your marriage, and then all of a sudden, you just suddenly begin to imagine that your husband is now missing. That's what happened to my wife.
Oh God! Honestly, it wasn't funny.
My wife was hysterical. Okay, let me start it, then you consider the story. So, what happened was that there was this particular day when we were planning to get married. I'd proposed, we'd agreed to get married and all that. So, we were in the middle of it now. Let's get married. You know that now, when you want to get married, but you don't suit you.
We're planning things.
You are planning things. So, now and then you visit your spouse, So, and where my wife lived, her house, is not really far. It's just like how many minutes from that house?
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Or 5 minutes.
3 minutes. No, it's not up to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes or 2.5 steps. You can walk from where I was living, the ministry where I was living, to where she was living. So, that particular day, she closed from work and she has a key to my house. Okay? So, she came to my house to meet me. Marriage discussions now, and also, of course, to see her guy.
My guy.
So she came to my house in the evening, was in the house waiting for me, in the evening, and she started waiting from, I think it was early evenings.
Yeah.
And she was waiting.
4 o'clock, or 5.
So she was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I was not coming. She waited and waited 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
I say, hey!
My wife.
God.
So what now happened? As it was getting later and later, and then you now started doing
I was confused first of all, like
No, you started calling first. That was what happened.
Yes, now for the confusion, I'm like, why were you delaying? So I started calling.
No, the confusion started from the calling.
After I called.
The more you called.
And then you weren't speaking. It was ringing, I think. It just kept ringing. So
the more she called, this is where the confusion started, where the whole hysteria came from. It wasn't even the waiting. It was the fact that now she was not trying to reach me, but she couldn't reach me.
Yeah.
So the more she called, the more the phone would ring, but I was not picking. And the hours we are going, and it was getting late into the night. She could afford to stay that late because, like I told you, her house is just 2 minutes or so away from where I was. So the more she called, the more I was not picking. And that day, I think what was I doing? I was out doing something, working on something,
So and I think your phone was on silent.
Yes, my phone was on silent. So what now happened? The more you now called.
After I started praying.
No,
I started to pray.
No, you went through. You didn't go through the process of what happened in your mind. Now let me tell you what happened in her mind. She doesn't remember this kind of stories. This when I now got home. This is what she told me. She, out of anxiety, first of all, she started imagining things. That this man is missing. What could have happened to him? Hey, something that happened to him.
Yeah.
Then she was now wondering, is it that?
That was what led to the prayer now.
Yes, now we have to, when you're telling a story, you can't jump one part and go to the other part now. You have to follow it.
Yeah, so I was completely confused.
She started imagining that somebody stole my phone, or whether they kidnapped me, or they stole my phone. That whoever, then that now led to the more anxiety and then the prayer that whoever is telling my phone, has taken my phone in the name of God, whoever it is that has held me anywhere, they should return my phone. Or
God keep my husband.
Or whoever it is that may have kidnapped him, whatever it is that would have done to him right now.
I pray. I prayed.
Young girl, we don't finally get her husband, where they won't go pay bride price. All of a sudden,
husband want to miss just like that.
And she liked this one.
I pray.
When you like the man, if you didn't like the man, you love to go. But when you like the man and you actually say, okay, let me marry this one, I like this one.
As I said,
so hysteria. My wife was praying. My wife. She prayed all manner of prayers that
I prayed. Before I did from nowhere, after a while, you came back or something.
Yes, now.
Or did I go back to my house or something?
No, you were still in the house.
You came back like.
You were still in the house because she was late. I had not come back. I think I came what time did I come back? Was it 10 or 11-ish?
11.
Because she forgot that she was supposed to go home. She was just praying.
Prayer of intercession.
And here's the funny thing. You know
was
that,
interceding
you know that kind
on
of
behalf of my
prayer of
husband.
anxiety. She will pray,
Now that
she
prayer
will
of anxiety,
worry.
you know better prayer.
She will pray, she will worry. Then she will pray
As-
some more again. Then she will worry. Then
That
she will
prayer
pray.
self was, I don't know whether I would say that prayer was not just one unnecessary prayer,
I'm
because
sure
it was out of fear. You know, whenever you are afraid,
Yes.
I pray. You now only you know say that prayer. It's only the grace of God that will lift it up.
I'm sure God himself upstairs would have been looking, shaking his head. There's nothing.
It was fear. The more I pray, say what if he's dead? The more I pray, whatever they kidnap me. The more I pray, the prayer was
What
just
happened to
not.
his phone?
The prayer was just not.
So that day was one of these. I came back very late. And when I go home, my surprise,
He was not looking
I
surprised.
saw her sitting in my house, and she was in my house.
Like nothing happened.
You know, so what happened? She was not saying what happened. You know, I was just scared. I was anxious, so I was scared. You know, she was not trying to describe how she was praying, how she was imagining all manner of things. So basically, the only imagination is that I beg me, my husband, no miss, my husband only.
Let him come back in one piece. Nothing missing, nothing broken. I mean, there are times even in this marriage we've had the situation like that.
You know, yeah, but
very similar.
But these days,
I call my brother and say, "Hey, my husband never come out."
Oh yes, we've had cases like that too. There was one time.
So sometimes, how do you just do this? Your MIA just don't disappear like that.
That day was I went to fix my phone. My phone was bad. The one that happened, while we were married. At least one I can remember now. That made her start to call her family members that she had not seen her husband since morning.
I cannot find him.
It was a Saturday. That one was a Saturday. Now this one is when we are married. Not to. I think was this your last day said that happened.
This year.
Was this your last day?
Yeah.
So I went to fix my phone. And they told me that they could fix it. So I was waiting. The guy said I could. I said it's Saturday. Let me just wait and just fix and get my phone back. That kind of thing. I wasn't ready to buy a new phone. Anyway, I still ended up buying a new phone. Anyway. So they told me they could fix it. They were trying to get the board or whatever, checking with different people. So I was waiting, and while I was there, I was also trying to do something else. There's something else that I wanted to do, some other things I wanted to buy and arrange like that. I think it was sometime in January also. Yeah, also December also. I think it's last year, maybe last year January, December also. Last year I think also. So because of that, I left the house in the morning, maybe around 9 or so or 10. As at 4 o'clock, my wife was hysterical. She started calling her family. And this is the bad part. Because the phone was faulty, there was no way she could call me because the phone, of course, was dead. So that was the problem. It wasn't working. So she didn't even know where to go. So she started calling her brother. She now told me when I go home. Okay, she told me, it was the other place where I went to buy something. I think because I couldn't transfer money to them. Because my phone was, my app. I couldn't make payment through my app, but my phone was dead, and I did not carry my card. I think I didn't carry my card. So what now happened was that I now asked the guy to give me his phone to call my wife so that she could transfer money to him. That was the saving grace. So by evening, it was around 4, 5 or so, I now called. She said, "Who is this?" And I said, "It's me." Oh, she now said, why did you do that? I said, I said, sorry. And all I just said was sorry. Because inside my mind.
Someone will be thinking about worrying about your life.
I already knew that my wife could start getting hysterical like that.
I pray too. So I'm a praying woman. I'm a praying woman. Why is it but I pass your power? I don't need to pray.
So,
okay.
So she now transferred the money, and that one was so that was also in that case. So this was funny. That one was before she got married. But that one you are more hysterical.
That was trying me.
Hey, somebody want to come and try. A woman of war.
Woman that has the woman of war. The life of God, the woman of war.
How can you let me come and take what belongs to you? So this is a funny story. When just this, something that happened, and how sometimes women can get hysterical, Sometimes men do also, depending on the case. But for a woman, my dear, please, men, no matter what happens, always stay in contact, okay?
Yeah.
Whether people are planning the wedding or people are married, stay in contact.
To avoid stories that touch.
My own, but the other side of my own is when my wife doesn't call me when she's supposed to show up. I don't get. I get in a way concerned, and sometimes if she starts staying out late, I get worried. Especially when she's not calling me to tell me that the time for her arrival has changed. Or some, that kind of thing. Mine is more of a responsibility. When it is not the time, I'll immediately call. And then she will not start. Sometimes she doesn't pick. Maybe the phone is on silent or maybe it's somewhere. Then when she eventually picks, that kind of thing. I say, no, because I try to, when you are married to somebody, you're supposed to be responsible for them. So you're supposed to always know where they are. Tell your wife where you are if you're a man, where you are, when you are coming back home, those kind of things. Or if things change, the same thing for your wife. Tell your husband where you are, when you're coming back home and all that. So they can gauge. So if something is off, they will immediately know. So, and like I said before, my wife doesn't have the habit of calling to always update.
In fact, let's have this in another episode. I have things to say
I think
about this particular episode.
all right, we'll talk about it in another episode. All right, so that's all on this gist. Hope you enjoyed it. Until we see you on our next chat.
Bye.
Bye.